Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone. Yippee-ki-yay, and welcome to the Die Hard Global Press Conference here in Second Life. We've already met. I'm Rockwell Jackalope, and I'm going to be your host for this unique and very special event, which brings together journalists, bloggers, and fans from all over the world, putting questions to our very special guest, Bruce Willis. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Bruce, but first, just a bit of housekeeping to let you know how the Second Life event is going to work and how you can engage with our guest. To kick off the QA, I'm going to ask the first couple of questions before throwing it over to you. Now, to ask a question in Second Life, all you need to do is type your text into the chat box at the bottom of your screen. That's a chat box, not the IM box, so please don't get the two confused because we won't get your question if we do. All questions will be open so that everyone can see who's asking what. I'm going to pick up on your questions as they come in, and we'll get to as many of them in the time allotted as possible, so please be patient. And along with being patient, which you guys already have been, hold off on sending all your questions at once. We will get to them. Now, let's get all that out of the way, and let's get to why we're here. Please join me in giving a warm digital welcome to Bruce B-Dub Willis. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, how you doing?
Very, very well. Well, listen, just to kick things off, I got one quick question here for you, and then we'll start grabbing them from the audience out here. You know, it's been said by some that after John Wayne, John McClane is the quintessential American hero. Now, what is it about your character? I mean, why do you think people relate to John McClane in the way that they do?
Well, I think that a big part of what initially went into the character of John McClane back in 1986, 87 was the fact that I had only done a couple films, and a big part of my character was informed by my South Jersey roots. Working class background, South Jersey roots, a very healthy disregard and lack of respect for authority, and a pretty dark sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So it's kind of like an everyman of sorts. It kind of appeals to everybody.
Well, I never consciously thought that I wanted to play it as an everyman, but it just kind of turned out like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, listen, dude, we actually have our first question here, and it comes from Caroline V. Ryder. And she asks, what do you have in common with John McClane, which I think you may have just answered part of it through South Jersey stuff. But
Okay. What do I have in common? Well, part of what we have what we have started calling the mythology of Die Hard includes the following. As I said, a healthy disregard and disrespect for lack of for authority, kind of a gallows sense of humor, kind of a cop gallows sense of humor. Mm-hmm. John McClane loves his family first, country second. He has zero tolerance for anyone that tries to put innocent people in harm's way, and will sacrifice his own life if necessary to keep that from happening.
Got it. Well, Barclay Street Barbosa writes to you, Bruce, what made you want to come back to do the Die Hard franchise?
It was only in retrospect of having had the opportunity to look at all three films, Die Hard, you know, the first Die Hard and the next two installments, did I realize that I wanted to take one more shot at trying to do what at the time I thought would be the last film in the quartet, or the quadrilogy, if you will. Mm-hmm. I wanted to take one more shot at trying to make a film that was as good, at least as good, if not better than the first film, which by my judgment is really the only good one, the only great one anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, Rob Adelaide has a question here. He says, with a background of disregard for authority, did the role of a police officer, albeit a very unorthodox one, irk you at all?
Will you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, no problem. It says, with a background of disregard for authority, did the role of a police officer, albeit a very unorthodox one, irk you at all?
Irk me at all? Mm-hmm. No, I think that there are a lot of law enforcement officers out there who work according to their own set of what is right and what is wrong. And that doesn't always include respect for administration cops, people that are higher up the food chain.
Well, we got another one here from Me Kiwi O. Do you like air guitar?
Do I like air guitar? I like watching other people do it. I've never really practiced air guitar or fooled around with it. I think I've seen people that are so much better at it than I am. That
you'll leave it to the professionals.
I'll leave it to the pros.
Well, here's one from Scotty Boy Slade. Bruce, why do you think, as you have said, the movie is as good as the first? What makes it just as good?
Well, a few things. Len Wiseman and I both were of a similar mind in that we didn't want the film to have. We wanted the film to have as little CGI effects in it as possible. We wanted the film to be as hardcore as possible and as smash mouth when it came to the violence as possible. To have stunts and kills in the film that were unique, which posed a particular set of problems because we not only had to compete with our own first three films, but with the Lethal Weapon series and all the other knockoffs of the Die Hard films that have been done since 1986, of which there are many. Also, not to mention how good stunts and effects have become on TV shows like 24, of which I'm a big fan.
And also, what is it, Michael Chiklis's film is our TV show as well?
The Shield.
Yeah, The Shield.
The Shield. Yeah. Those TV's come a long way in the last 21 years.
Yeah, it really has. It really has.
Special effects have been made, especially CGI effects have been made much more cost-effective since those days. So Len, I think, really more than myself, was really responsible for some of the big set pieces in this film. It wasn't until I saw the film cut together that I realized that how big a part of the mythology of Die Hard elevators are. There's an elevator scene in every one of the films, and now in the fourth installment, there's a huge set piece where this ongoing fight that I have with Maggie Q, who plays this expert martial artist. I have to fight her in order to, or I actually have to take a tremendous beating in order to give Justin Long time enough to do what he has to do from the technical side and stop Tim Oliphant.